Hello, this is Dr. Leila Turner with Living Wellness Medical Center, and I'd like to talk to you today about our upcoming Living Wellness Cleanse with the Doctors. I wanted to talk a little bit about what's so sexy about doing a cleanse anyway. Why would you go to all the trouble to do a cleanse? Our bodies are innately equipped to process and eliminate toxins. The problem is that we are overloaded with toxins in our environment. We're exposed to so many toxins on a daily basis, and when you couple this with stress and a poor diet, it really will prevent us from properly detoxifying these toxins. This eventually leads to a buildup, and it can affect various systems in the body. What is a cleanse? It's generally a short-term dietary change that can often last anywhere from 3 to 21 days. You focus on removing the toxins from the body, and you support the emunctories to aid in toxin elimination. Now, what on earth are the emunctories? Well, I'm going to go over that later. Some of the symptoms that can be helped by a cleanse: acne, allergies, brain fog, bloating, constipation, fatigue, gas, headaches. Ideally, I like to recommend to my patients 1 or 2 times a year, do a cleanse. The purpose of a cleanse is to give the body a vacation from the daily tasks of digesting and metabolizing these processed foods. To facilitate the toxin clearance, we want to support the body's elimination pathways. We call these the emunctories. I commonly do food allergy panels on patients in my office. This is an example of a patient that showed up positive for many dairies and eggs. When we did a food allergy diet and took these foods out of her diet for 4 weeks, all of her symptoms went away. Then we put her on a reintroduction plan where we reintroduced the foods, and we got to see how she did. Some of the foods she was able to reintroduce. For example, when we reintroduced organic eggs instead of conventional eggs, she was able to tolerate the eggs. She still had a problem with dairy, but what we did was gave her some digestive enzymes that if she took when she ate the dairy, she was able to tolerate a little bit of dairy. This is the second part of the food allergy panel that looks at grains, legumes, and nuts, and vegetables. Commonly with my patients, if we do a cleanse once or twice a year, many of their food sensitivities go away. So some of the benefits that I've seen with doing a cleanse is improved energy, improved mood, brain fog goes away, acne will oftentimes clear up, circulation can get better, obviously weight loss. This is one of the primary reasons I'll recommend a patient do a cleanse, is when they want to lose weight. And what better time to try and do that than after the holidays? Doing a cleanse improves digestion and will oftentimes help with allergies. So what does a cleanse entail? I try to keep this simple. Out with the bad, in with the good, and supporting the body's systems. So let's start with looking at what is the bad. This is an example of the foods that are allowed and not allowed during our cleanse. So let's go through these. All dairy, no corn, no gluten, no wheat, barley, rye, spelt, no potatoes, no oats, no arrowroot, tapioca, no rice, no buckwheat, millet, quinoa, and amaranth. Now, sometimes for my vegetarian patients, I will allow some variations in here. For example, sometimes I will allow the gluten-free quinoa or gluten-free oats, but we can customize that depending on the individual. Beef, pork, sausages, canned meats. The vegetables that we recommend you avoid are just the vegetables that have been treated with either cream or dairy. We do recommend that you avoid nightshades. Nightshades are foods like potatoes, bell peppers, tomatoes, and eggplants. Most fruits are allowed. We just have to watch the sugar. Soups will just depend on what the soup is made from. Beverages, again, no dairy. We do recommend that you significantly reduce or even eliminate caffeine. chocolate, alcohol, no soft drinks or soda, no extra sugar. Most oils are going to be allowed except for margarine, shortening, and commercial-based salad dressings. Nothing with trans fats. Most nuts and seeds are allowed except for peanuts and pistachios. And sweeteners, there's only a few that we allow. Stevia is allowed, pure maple syrup is allowed, but we really recommend that you try to reduce your sugar intake during this time so that you can change your taste bud to what is sweet. I just want to talk a little extra about gluten. Gluten is interesting. It is a grain that is a fairly inflammatory grain. I've had patients eliminate gluten from their diet, and the first thing they notice is any swelling in their body goes down. Gluten likes to suck in water. So when patients take gluten out of their diet, a lot of their swelling and water retention goes down. It causes stagnation in the gut, and that's going to then decrease absorbability of your nutrients in your gut. And gluten really just causes inflammation, which leads to many chronic diseases. So sugar, what's all the fuss about sugar? This is one of my favorite pictures. When I teach people to understand what it is you're eating, it's important to understand that all carbohydrates are sugar. Even our vegetables are mostly sugar. This picture represents how much sugar you get from this amount of pasta. That really kind of changes things when you think about eating carbohydrates. The conventional carbs that we think of are our refined carbs, like breads and pastas and muffins. So why do we care about all of this extra sugar? Well, sugar is sticky. It sticks to everything. It sticks to blood vessels. It sticks to nerves. It ends up overstimulating our receptors, and this leads to cell damage. I'm not going to go through every bullet point here, but sugar can suppress the immune system. It can cause a rapid rise of adrenaline, causing hyperactivity and anxiety, causes difficulty with concentrating. It can affect your cholesterol. It affects your tissue elasticity, premature aging. It affects your ability to process other macronutrients. It's associated with autoimmune diseases. It's associated with yeast. It's associated with gallstones, appendicitis, hemorrhoids, varicose veins. It can cause deficiencies of other vitamins like vitamin E. It can increase your blood pressure. It's associated with fatigue and drowsiness. Sugar interferes with your absorption of protein. It can cause food allergies. It can contribute to eczema. It can contribute to atherosclerosis and cardiovascular disease. Last page of sugar problems, I promise. It can be addictive. Sugar can cause emotional instability. Sugar is associated with ADHD. It can affect your electrolyte composition. Doing a cleanse will change how you taste sugar. It changes how much you want sugar. We talked about the things that we want to take out of our diet in a cleanse. Let's go ahead and talk about what you want to do to support yourself during the cleanse. So let's talk about the foods that you can eat during the cleanse. When it comes to dairy, really, there's not that many options. No dairy is allowed. However, any of our other milks, our nut milks, rice milks are allowed, almond milks are allowed, coconut milk is allowed. You can make your own milks, which is very fun to do. We really encourage you to avoid all grains. Proteins. Ideally, you want to only eat organic proteins, and during the cleanse, we recommend that you stick with chicken, turkey, lamb, lentils, fish, mackerel, sardines, trout, or halibut. All of your vegetables are allowed except for the nightshades. Fruits. Most fruits are allowed as long as it's not too much. Soups just have to avoid the grain and the dairy, so no creamed soups. Beverages, as long as there's no caffeine or sugar, anything else is allowed. Most fats are allowed. Canola oil, avocado oil, coconut oil is fine, olive oil is fine. All of your nuts and seeds are allowed except for peanut butter and pistachios, and this generally has to do with the amount of fungus that you will see inside peanuts. It's also very hard to find organic peanuts, and so while you're doing the cleanse, we recommend you branch out and try some new foods. Sweeteners, xylitol, stevia, and maple syrup is allowed. So we've talked about what to avoid, what to include. Now let's talk about how to support the body systems. Supporting the emunctories. What on earth is an emunctory? An emunctory is an excretory organ or duct. It is a part of the body that we use to eliminate toxins. So our emunctories that we're going to support during the cleanse are the liver, the skin, the colon, and the kidneys. So first, let's talk about your liver. How can we love your liver during the cleanse? Well, first we need to understand what the liver does and why we care so much to try and help it. The liver is the body's primary detox organ, and it's responsible for metabolizing hormones, medications, supplements, alcohol. It purifies the blood coming from the intestines before it enters the systemic body-wide circulation. The liver helps with making bile. Here is a picture of our phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification in the liver. During phase 1, the liver will process these toxins and turn them into a water-soluble version of the toxin. Once they're water-soluble, phase 2 will then allow them to be excreted from the body through the stool and through the urine. The first thing that you're doing to support your liver during this cleanse is to just eat well. It's just about eating clean foods and reducing the foods we talked about eliminating. However, if we want to do some extra support to love your liver during the cleanse, your Living Wellness physician can talk to you about additional detoxification herbs, nutritive teas, and will teach you how to do castor oil packs on your liver. Another emunctory is the bowel. Your bowels are made up of the small and large intestines. The intestines are a long continuous tube that run from the very outside of your stomach all the way to the end. Your small intestine helps with absorption of nutrients and minerals from what you eat. Your large intestine helps with the absorption of water and a few other vitamins. The large intestine creates stool, and it will put the toxins that the liver has processed and help with excretion of it all. Certain foods can irritate our intestines. For example, gluten. Gluten can cause gastrointestinal inflammation. And over time, inflammation in the colon leads to sluggish and ineffective digestion. And this leads to a condition called malabsorption, where your intestines are not absorbing their nutrients. So what do we want to do to support your bowels during the cleanse is, first, just eat clean food. We want to avoid the foods we talked about avoiding. There are additional detoxifying herbs that your physician can include. There's nutritive and cleansing teas, castor oil packs, and when needed, we also will recommend an enema or a colonic. This is primarily for chronic constipation. Your kidneys. How can we support our kidneys while you're doing the cleanse? Well, the most important is to hydrate. Drink as much water as you can during the cleanse. We oftentimes recommend adding electrolytes to your cleanse when you do it. We have additional detoxifying and kidney supportive herbs, teas, trace minerals that you can add to your water. And I also remind people, pee when you have to pee. We hope that you are interested in working with us and doing the cleanse with the docs. January, the doctors will be doing a cleanse with you. Please check out more information on our website at livingwellnessmedicalcenter.com and click on Cleanse with the Docs. We provide tips and tricks, recipes, motivation. We have a group option and we have a buddy option where if you have a friend you would like to do the cleanse with, please bring them with. We teach you how to plan for the cleanse. If you don't plan, it's very hard to follow the cleanse in the middle of your busy work week. And I always encourage people, this is a time to meet new friends at the grocery store. And by friends, I mean foods. Branch out, try foods that you haven't tried before, and be adventurous. We hope to see you at the Cleanse with the Docs. Please call to register or check us out online at livingwellnessmedicalcenter.com.